Hey guys, it's Steve Caudle here, owner of Daniel Boone of Kentucky Corporation, and I'm back home from my challenge end-to-end hike from the Chateau Trace Trail, which is a 333-mile trail through the backwoods of Kentucky into the Big South Fork, goes through the Daniel Boone National Forest and goes to the Big South Fork and ended up over in Tennessee. I've been home now for 2 days, and I've had an enormous amount of requests about a gear shakedown, and I want to share probably about 5 different videos and start with my big 3 of what I did right and what I did wrong on the trail. And this is by no means to say that tell people what they need to do. It's like anything in life. I can only share with you what worked for me, and what works best for me might not work best for you if you're considering doing a long hike. I got a lot of people that follow me on Facebook because I do Daniel Boone that have sent me messages and emails that are considering doing a through hike on the Chateau Trace, and I would just simply, without overwhelming you, because this is an overwhelming hike, it's no doubt a year-long commitment to hike this trail, would tell you the best advice I could give you if you're considering this trail is get out there and do it, but go to an orientation. If you go to the website of chateautrace.org, they've got places in a city near you right now where you can go to an orientation. And I went to that orientation in Lexington, Kentucky last year. And it's a couple of hours. I took a lot of notes, and the notes are dead on. Steve Barber, our executive director of that organization, will teach you and tell you everything that you need to know about getting started on this trail. But I want to do 5 different videos about my big 3. I don't mean to use a lot of terms and language, maybe if you're not a through hiker, that you wouldn't understand, but the big 3 is your pack, your gear, what you're carrying, your tent, and I want to talk about the clothing that I wore, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and the shoes especially, the footwear that I wore, and then what I ate on the trail, and the stove systems and things that I did. The funny thing about it, I was inspired by my cousin, real brief, my first cousin, Alicia, that first, her and her husband, Daryl, through hiked the Appalachian Trail last year. He was a colonel in the United States Army, and I followed them on their Appalachian Trail through hike, and I was just so inspired by that. And with me being a national portrayer of Daniel Boone, I thought, I've hunted in the backwoods of the Daniel Boone National Forest since as long as I can remember, bow hunting and grouse hunting and squirrel hunting, but I'd never walked the Chateau Trace Trail that runs all the way from the Moorhead, Kentucky, through the northern terminus, all the way down to the Big South Fork in Tennessee. And so I set out on January this year to do 11 sections. There was an added section on the Kentucky Trail this year that was another 10 miles, ended up giving me 333 miles, and I just completed it 2 days ago. So on this video, I want to talk about what worked for me and what didn't work for me on my backpack. Now, again, I want to reiterate, what worked for me might not work for you, but it took me, and it's sort of embarrassing, but it's being real. I could never get comfortable in a backpack for long distance hiking. I actually purchased 3 different backpacks on my end-to-end hike, and I want to show you what I started out with. This is probably the most popular pack that you'll see on the trail. It's one of the most comfortable packs. This is a Osprey Atmos AG50. This is a super, super comfortable pack. But the problem that I had with this pack, even if you take what's called the brain off, this top section of this backpack off, it still weighs 4 pounds, 4.29 pounds. I mean, so you're starting out with your base weight before you put any gear in this pack, 4.29 pounds. But this is just a super comfortable pack, and you see a lot of the hikers on the Chateau Trace, and especially people that do long trails like the Appalachian Trail. You'll see a lot of those people carrying. I think in part it's a comfortable pack. It's a real durable pack, and but the weight, and also I might add that this pack you'll see at a lot of the big box stores. You can get into this pack for under about $250. I hiked with this pack for probably about 45, maybe 55 miles, and I was really struggling keeping my base weight down. Everything that I was going to go back and talk about with the people that I was inspired about. There was a guy named Brian Carpenter I went to church with that is a through hiker that completed the Appalachian Trail that inspired me to do the Chateau Trace. And I remember back last year before I hiked the Chateau Trail that I'd sent Brian pictures of my gear. And you know, it's funny looking back, Brian says, yeah, it looks good to me. But he was just being overly polite, because the fact is everything that I sent him a picture of in that picture, I didn't end up using all the way through the trail. Matter of fact, I can't remember if there was even anything in that beginning photograph that I ended up taking with me on the trail. So the next pack I went to, because I was trying to get my pack weight down and get a little more comfortable on the trail, was I ordered the ULA Circuit backpack. This is just a super ultra light, very comfortable backpack that I wore probably about close to 3/4 of the time on the trail. And a lot of your through hikers, a lot of people that's completed the Appalachian Trail own this pack. And by the way, all these packs that I'm going to show you today are 50-liter packs. Now this pack compared to the Osprey is 2.5 pounds. So I'm dropping about half my base weight on my backpack to get my weight down. But again, after hiking, I guess 150 miles plus in this, I still wasn't just as comfortable as I felt like I needed to be. But my body was changing. I was losing weight. A lot of people's asked me if I lost weight this year hiking. Actually, I don't know what a lot is, but I'm not a big guy. I was 200 pounds, and I've lost 16 pounds this year from hiking. And but I just never got comfortable in that UA circuit. So the last two hikes, I thought I'm going to switch one more time. And it's so strange that I switched to this pack here because originally this was the pack after all my research that I thought that I originally wanted, but I didn't go with it. This is the Zpack Arc Blast. This pack right here weighs 1 pound 3 ounces. Now that's not counting if you put these two side pockets, that one that I carry my pistol in up here, and this one here is the pocket that I carry my cell phone in and my snacks during the day, and putting the water bottle on. But you're just about 1 pound 3/4. And so this pack right here is, without a doubt, is my go-to pack. Now let me pull this string back up to me a little bit quick. The last 50, 60 miles I hiked on this trail, I hiked in the Zpack Arc Blast. It's a 55-liter pack. It was a game changer for me. It was when I knew that after that first hike, after I got in about 20 miles, I knew that was going to be my go-to pack, and that's what I was comfortable with, and this would be the pack that I'll stay with. So in short, I want to share with you the 3 packs. I mean, I know it's crazy, but backpacking's a crazy hobby. I don't know what would work for you, but I want to share how and why I ended up going to 3 different packs. Mainly the stuff I'm going to share in the other videos this week, my post hike shakedown. I'll just go in like I told you, my sleeping system, why I went with what I did, hammock versus tent, my clothing, my shoes, what I ate on the trail, how I cooked on the trail. All that changed once I got there on the trail. So I guess if there's any lesson to be learned here, don't get that mindset that you're dead set on that this is what I'm buying, this is what's going to work for me. and this is what I'm going to do. And I would never tell, because I'm getting a lot of messages from people that follow me on Facebook and social media that, you know, they're calling and they're texting me, and I try to be just as polite as I can. They're saying, you know, should I buy this? Should I buy that? Would you go with this? And there's no way of answering that. I can't do that. The best thing I can do is tell you what I bought, what worked for me, and what didn't work for me. And I ended up buying 3 backpacks. Matter of fact, if somebody's interested, I would probably sell that Osprey and that ULA backpack, but I don't know. I'm not real sure that I'm going to get rid of them, because my wife has shown a great interest in this, and obviously she's not going to jump out on the trail and start and do a big mile trail through hike like I did this year. But, you know, we'll start out real small with her, and it's a way for me and her to get out in the woods. So I hope this has helped you some. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about my how I slept on the trail and the gear that I took, and how that switched and transformed on the trail. But my advice to you right now, because I'll probably post this on the Chatowi Trace Facebook page for people that are considering doing a through hike this year for the challenge 2020, is before you talk about gear and going out and buying anything, I hope these videos will help you. But the biggest advice I can give you right now, with it being November, if you're considering, right now is the time to seriously think about doing this. Make a decision. But the most important thing that you can do right now is get to an orientation to a city near you, and you go to the chatowitrace.org, and it'll list all these cities through all the way from up north down into Knoxville. There's one, the 13th, over in Lexington, Kentucky, if you're in central Kentucky, all through the Ohio Valley. You need to get to an orientation. You need to take a lot of notes whether you're going to do this trail or not. In the case that you do decide to do the trail, I will tell you this, the orientation, the facts of how many percentage of people that will make it and the people that won't make rang true. I mean, it was dead on. There's 3 main reasons you can't complete this trail, and they'll talk about that in the orientation. And I listened to what he had to say, and I kept that in the back of my mind. And I'll share with more about that, the mindset, later on in another video this week of what I went through mentally and emotionally and physically, and the injuries that I had on the trail that I felt like were going to pull me off. But I pushed through and completed this trail 2 days ago. So thanks for joining me. I hope if you're considering hiking the trail that you got something out of this, and we'll see you next time.